The public weighs in on the proposed operation plan for the shooting range. 2 time capsules are buried on Sandy Neck. Plus, we get you ready for the upcoming town election. These stories on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. Residents filled the town hall hearing room last night during a public hearing on the proposed new regulations for the town shooting range. Included in the regulations would be a permit fee of $70 for residents and $110 for non-residents. Under the proposed schedule, the range would be open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and be monitored by a range officer. NRA certified Chief Range Safety Officer Kevin York spoke about the need for officer certification.
Range safety officers are unique individuals in the firearms world because we're enthusiasts. So we take the courses in order to help other people enjoy the sport. Very few of us are ever paid for our efforts. We volunteer at our clubs and cover ranges for long segments of time. At my particular club, range safety officers typically volunteer 4 hours a month to cover ranges. Now, one of the reasons that range safety officers would be better than police officers in this duty, and I love the men in blue, is that we see a wide variety of firearms on a daily basis. We see lever guns, shotguns, all sorts of handguns. We help people with problems that they're having with their firearms, like stoppages and misfires and all these things. We see a far more variety of problems with firearms than a police officer would in their normal course of duty. So I think that range safety officers are actually better qualified than police officers for maintaining range safety.
While they were in the minority, opponents of the range reopening also spoke out, including West Barnstable resident Lisa Hendrickson.
I don't know if you're aware that the number or the frequency of use has been increasing every single year. And as someone who's a taxpayer, I work too. But I hear the range. And there's only 2 days in a weekend. And I'd like to also be able to enjoy my property. Right now, my property value is not worth what I thought it was worth. I bought my house in the winter, unfortunately. No one told me there was a range there. I'm not against people using the range, but I'm against the noise. Hank brought up how we could reduce some of that noise reduction. I hope you incorporate that. In addition, the dredge spoils that are there. If a dirt pile was a solution to noise abatement, we wouldn't need acoustic engineers to design those concrete walls that we have along the highway. We'd see piles of dirt. So I'm hopeful that that will work, but we'll be the final guinea pigs to tell you. So some of us are still concerned about the noise. We're also concerned about what's in that pile. 36 years and it's never been cleaned up. You know, we're all on wells, and everyone brushes it off. What if we all go and get our wells tested? And if we find they are contaminated, then what? I know that this is just a supposed situation, but if it's the case, we only have so much property. We can only site our wells in so many locations. So I suggest that part of your management plan would be cleanup. I don't care how much it costs. If people want to use it and recreate there, then the end user has to pay for that somehow, because I paid for my property and it's going down in value from the noise and the pollution.
Following more than 2 hours of public comment, the commission discussed some of the feedback and proposed making some changes to the current operating proposal. One such change would be to open the range 5 days a week instead of 3. The public hearing was continued and will resume again at the Conservation Commission's next meeting, October 15th. 2 time capsules were buried on Sandy Neck over the weekend, one to be opened in 30 years and one to be opened in 60. Our Channel 18 cameras documented the burial. We take you there now.
Well, essentially what happened was, at the beginning of the spring, I was reading about time capsules, and I thought, well, that would be a neat idea to create a time capsule for the Sandy Neck colony. I was just thinking of something that I would do myself as a sort of a personal project. And after a little while in the spring, this is before I even came down at the beginning of the year, I kind of thought, well, maybe it'd be nice to just open it up to everybody if other people want to offer things to go into it and so forth. And I ended up bringing the idea up at I'm also the vice president of the Sandy Neck Colony Association, so at the meetings I brought it up and said, this is a project I'm interested in doing. If anybody wants to take part, please come and see me, and I got some interest in it. So I ended up putting together 2 time capsules with items from different people in the colony. So we've got one that will be stored for 30 years and one that will be stored for 60 years. They both have mostly the same stuff in them, but there are some personal items that were given that I don't have copies of. People decided which one they wanted it to be in, hoping that they'd be here to see it opened or for their children and that kind of thing. So that's essentially kind of where it came out to, and I've got a spot picked out that's just behind the colony a little bit. Not quite in the dunes, but hopefully beyond the water line, since the water seems to be creeping up a little bit more these years, where we're going to bury them, and they've got plaques that are spaced right in front of them, so it'll be easy to find them, they won't get lost. And in addition, I'm also going to register these with the International Time Capsule Society, which is hosted at Oglethorpe University. They have an online form you can register time capsules there, so there'll be a permanent record of them there as well. And that's essentially the whole story. And I've gotten a fair amount of good interest from them. We've got a bunch of old photographs. There's thumb drives in here with videos, photographs. We've got, I think, a photo of the mooring field, so we know what the mooring field looked like in 2010 in case things move 30 and 60 years from now, which it probably will. Photos of buildings, pictures of sort of the technology that we use in the buildings now, like what we use for fuel and refrigeration and that sort of thing, because I imagine that's all going to change significantly in the coming decades. And photos of people, and that's kind of the deal.
November 5th, all town council precincts are up for re-election. We have some important dates to keep in mind. The last day to register to vote in the upcoming election is October 15th. To register, you can visit the clerk's office in Town Hall. Also, the Barnstable Patriot is hosting a series of candidate debates. The first debate will be held Monday, October 21st. That will be for precincts 11, 2, and 6. The second debate will be held Thursday, October 24th, and that will include precincts 12, 9, and possibly 5. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannell.